Martin Sheentella. We got Taz, the resident artist. Just a few right there. So I'm here, and right now everything is working, so that's a good sign. I may have a surprise guest pop in, hopefully. If not, I'm going to put it out there to everybody out there right now. If anybody who wants to be on the show, let me know through Messenger, and I'll give you the Zoom information, and you can Zoom right in, and we can have a conversation. How's that sound? In the meantime, I'm just going to get a couple things out of the way. I was hoping that Joe Staz will be on. Hopefully he will be on. Okay? But right now I'm going to enjoy what they call a Manhattan Special. If anyone knows, if you're from New York, what a Manhattan Special is, it's like a coffee soda. It's like an espresso with bubbles. It's delicious. And I'm going to have a swig right now because I really need it. I actually wish I put a little Sambuca in there. I need that right now, too. All right, let's see who's joining us right now. We got Greg DeFilippo, like I said. Martin, Taz, and that's it so far. All right, so another thing we're going to. We got our guest right here, and here he is. Who's that man? How you doing? You got the sound on? You good?
What's up?
How you doing there, Mr. Americo?
How you doing, Felix?
I could be better if I had my chef on today, but we got you, so how's that?
Oh, I think it's awesome. I got it set up here so that we have light, so we can see my pretty face here.
All right. I was just telling the audience that I was all prepared for the brunch that he was going to make. I bought myself a Manhattan Special. You remember those drinks at all?
Oh yeah.
It's a coffee soda.
That's a soda?
A coffee soda. Yeah. It comes from Brooklyn. Primarily, you get it in Brooklyn most of the time. You know, it's a real Italian type of drink. You know, but that's what I got. So you're looking fine.
I took a shower.
Well, thank God for that. I appreciate that, you know. Although it's not smell TV, so it doesn't make a difference. You know what I mean?
Exactamundo. What was your theme for today, my friend?
The theme for today was we were going to have Mr. Joe Staz, who's a chef, and he watches our show down in Florida, and he was going to cook us a nice brunch. Okay, well, actually for himself, but we were going to see how he was going to make it. He was going to do crepes and I believe French toast, things like that, you know. And you know, like strawberry crepes, French toast. I think he was going to do an Eggs Benedict also as well. Okay, we're not ruling him out yet. He says he's going to set up with a generator, so he may pop in hopefully while we're doing the show. So.
Now, where does he live that you said was a big storm?
Yeah, in Florida, but I'm not sure where in Florida. If it's close to Dayton, I don't know, maybe someone out there who's watching knows where he lives.
Is it East Coast, West Coast?
I think he is on I'm not sure. I think he's on the Gulf Coast, so that's where he got hit, you know. Usually they got hit down there.
That's the sad part about Florida, that you know, these storms come at them at any given minute, and you know, it's nice to think that you would live there and be warm and everything. I got a couple of friends, actually a comic friend of mine that just went down there, and I envy him because he can go golfing. Here, it was starting to get a little cold with the outdoor work and stuff, so you know that's nice. But you know, if you end up going down there and then all of a sudden you got these storms, I don't know. I'm not heavily onto storms. The few we've had here have wreaked enough havoc for me, you know.
Yeah.
I can't think of flooding and stuff like that. You know?
Well, down there, I mean, they've been hit twice already. I think about a month ago, another storm, or 2 weeks ago. But primarily, Louisiana gets hit big time, all the time. And the lower part of Texas, they get it. That's where all your
Yeah.
floods are and all the emergencies and the people and stuff like that.
I
It's
tell you,
terrible.
I feel terrible for those people because I read on it on, social media, and
Right.
it's scary
I
that
know.
their houses aren't even built like ours. A lot of them live in like, like trailer type structures
Right. Right.
that don't withstand anything. And I mean, this morning I saw it on the news. This poor guy in Mississippi, I believe, he was all of a sudden a tree fell on his house. It broke through the roof, and the guy said all I could see was rain. Thank God his life was spared, but they show you pictures of the guy's house. Oh my God, that's how
Right.
you start your day, like trying to get this tree off your house. And then even after you get the tree off your house, how do you repair?
Right.
It's we live in a very volatile world between what's going on in the politic world and and
Right.
the
Yeah.
weather, but
Crazy.
that's why I stick to comedy and you stick to cooking, because those are two wonderful things in our lives that we need. We need to eat and we need to laugh.
Right. Food, shelter, clothing in that order. Remember that. That's what I always say. All right. So let me explain to everybody, people who don't know you. Okay. This is Americo Flaban. He's been on our show about what, about 4 times now, I guess.
Yeah,
When we're
yeah.
back in the studio. He is a comic, um, but he also belongs to a group of veterans that do comedy. Correct?
Yeah, and just to catch everybody up on that, COVID kind of screwed us up because I belong to Comedy Assault. That was a team of comics that we put together through Project Nine Line. That was started by Pat Donahue, who I haven't spoken to in a while. He has become a lawyer now. He got his law degree. He passed his bar exam,
Okay.
and he's helping veterans get their duly just benefits. I believe you were in the Navy, right?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, no. I was more of an Army guy. I wasn't a Navy person.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah,
But
I
if
wanted to be
anybody
in the
out there,
Navy, but
if
I didn't
anybody out
quite
there
do it.
feels that they need some, some kind of benefits due them, from being veterans, they can contact Pat Donahue, myself, and I will
Right.
gladly turn you on to him. And through that, we have become a team of anywhere between 10 and 15 comics. And we were supposed to perform in Reno, Nevada, come this past June.
Oh, wow.
It was a big, big opportunity for us because 4 comics were going. I was not one of the comics going, but 4 comics were going, and we were supposed to do a convention for the veterans, VFW, Veterans of Foreign
Oh, that's very
Wars,
good. Yeah, that's nice. Fits right in.
and there was 5,000 people that were going to this convention. Now, would 5,000 people have been packed into a comedy venue? I don't know. But the chances are that we would have been performing for well over 1,000 people
Right.
in a hall, which is, like a great opportunity as a comic or as a performer, even as a chef. When you have 1,000 people watching you, that pumps you up. You know
Right.
what I mean? That pumps you up.
Absolutely.
It gets you going. And like food and comedy, they're infectious. So if you're able to perform in front of 5,000 people, you're going to get 10 of them to laugh.
Right.
And if you get 10 of them to laugh, that means 20 are going to laugh, and 30 and 40, and then the numbers just grow. So now that's not to say that we're not going to be able to do it again. It's just that everything's been put on hold through
Of course.
look at even us now. We're not even having a face-to-face meeting. We have to do everything through virtual Zoom.
I mean, they're redoing our studio, but we don't even know once the studio's done if we're going to be allowed to go in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Luckily, my equipment now is working, but I don't have any chefs for today. So there you go. There's
Yeah.
always something that's happening to me. I don't know about you, but I find myself going through different little problems with the COVID. I don't know if you are, but you
Well,
just told me
I
about the
mentioned
golf was interrupted, right?
I mentioned to you that I belong to quite a few groups through comedy and my friends and my past employment. And one, I believe it was 2 of the fellas that I play golf with, tested positive for COVID. So I went and got tested as a precautionary measure because I don't want to be spreading it. Now, luckily for me, I tested negative, but it woke me up once again to be extra careful out there, and to social distance, and all of us have to be aware of the fact of our own health issues. You know what I
Sure.
mean? So I have no problem with people wearing masks. I have no problem with people social distancing, not going to places. But when you do go out, use your head. If you have any underlying issues, don't get yourself caught up into a small room where there are 20 people breathing on you.
Hey,
Because we're going through that with everybody's like, well, why don't they open this and why don't they open that? Some things should be open and some things should be left closed.
hey, look,
Outdoor activities are good.
it happened to the president, right? There you go. So you never
Yeah.
know who it's going to hit. So,
And it's not just a health issue. It's an economic issue. It's a mindset issue.
right,
What all of us are going through right now is so uncharted territory to any of us. We're learning from it from day to day. People are being isolated. That doesn't help. We need social activity with one another. Now, just the way that people act towards one another when we're outside. Everybody's like holding their breath and
right.
looking at people kind of funny. Like everybody seems to be sick. As a comic, there's a lot of comedy that comes out of that. It's been said before, but one of the first things I thought of when this whole thing happened is I used to be able to hide my farts by doing a little cough. If
Right,
you were
right,
out in
right.
public and you had to go, I know me. And so I would do a little cough. And now it is totally turned around. Now, if you have to cough, you hide it with a fart, because if you cough, they're going to call the COVID police on you.
There you go. It's
So
a bizarro reverse world now that we live in.
it was a full turn of events right there.
Right.
Who would have thunk of that?
Now, let me ask you a question. You cook, right? Do you cook?
Oh yeah.
All right.
I'm
So
I, after this meeting, I'm going to cook for today. I like to cook on Sundays.
Oh, okay. Well,
I
perhaps.
cook every day, but I like to
Right.
cook something special on Sunday.
Well, perhaps next time we have a show, if you want to cook something for us, like like what the other guys do, you could come on. Prepare a little dish on the Zoom if you want. You're always welcome. You know that. In fact, I was thinking of having comics come on and cook. I was gonna call it, comics cook. So
That's a
I
good name.
figure
It's
anyone out
catchy.
there, any of the comics that want to come on the show and want to set up their Zoom or whatever to do a cooking demonstration of what they like, that's something that I've been looking into. You know, especially
Well, that's a whole nother factor now. It's that I don't think most people cook. I think most people go out or order out. And during this pandemic, it's been hard because you're counting on being fed by somebody else. So like
right.
Grubhub and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of restaurants have the curbside picking up and stuff. Luckily for me, I cook and I cook rather well. I mean, if you saw my full picture, you'd see that I have not missed a meal in 65 years. But I try to keep mine simple, and I also, wrap my brain around like, well, what's going to make it different? Because we all make the same basic chicken and pasta dishes and stuff. But it seems to me that every time I cook something, it's well appreciated by the people that eat it. My sister-in-law, in particular, came over 2-3 weekends in a row on a Sunday when I cooked, and she said, "Can you cook the same thing you cooked last time?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I guess I could, but don't you want me to cook something different?" She said, "No, that was really good." And it's a simple dish where you just take some plum tomatoes. You've done this a million times, with a little bit of garlic and onion, and you make yourself a quick sauce, and then you take the spaghetti and put it on there,
Right.
and it's like a 1, 2, 3.
Quick
But the trick,
marinara. Yep.
but the trick to it is the fresh herbs. I have a garden, so I go out and I get myself some oregano, some basil, some parsley. I
Nice.
chop it all up, and then once the dish is made, I sprinkle that on it.
Right.
then it blends in.
That's
Now those
correct.
oils are alive,
Right.
as opposed to when you cook with them, they
Right.
kind of get lost in the sauce.
Right. Well, that's what I was taught with anything. The dry herbs you could put in while you're cooking, but at the end is when you throw in your live, your fresh herbs, and to enhance the flavoring and everything like that.
Oh,
Because
it's
it
it
doesn't
snaps it.
pay. Yeah, once you put that fresh herb in the beginning, like you said, it cooks out, and you don't get the real flavor of it. You always got to put it in at the end. That's the way it should be. Although, like if you make a stock or something and you put fresh thyme in there, that's okay. But most of the time, like what you do with the sauce, you got to throw that fresh basil in at the end.
Oh
And the
yeah,
oregano. There's nothing like fresh oregano, by the way. I love fresh oregano. I'm not a big
yeah,
dry oregano fan, but the fresh one is good. Yeah.
yeah. I have a pair of scissors for cooking, and what I do is I take them all in, wash them, let them dry on a paper towel, and then I cut them all up so that they're tiny, tiny, tiny. And then when you mix them up,
Right.
it would be almost like the same texture that you would out of a dry herb can. But my God, it wakes everything up. And now wintertime, I like to cook, and I'm home, so I could spend all day making all kinds of things. I tend to cook Italian, Chinese, Spanish. I cook all kinds of things, but the Italian the Italian dishes are great because they
Right.
take a while. The kitchen smells good, and then you have bread, which is my downfall. But you got to have bread with Italian food. You got to
Nice
dip that bread in
semolina
the
or
sauce.
something. Yeah.
Like I take the lasagna shells and I cook the lasagna shells and then I leave them on the side. And then I take ragout and spinach and with some grated cheese, and then I put them inside of the lasagna, and then I roll the lasagnas
Right.
up. So when it cooks, it kind of steams the spinach as opposed to having an overcooked spinach. No, I mean that's okay, but again, let's go back to fresh. Fresh is the key
Uh
word.
huh.
And then I cook them up in the oven with a little bit of mozzarella on top, and they just come out like little lasagna bites,
Yeah.
and
Nice.
they go good. Now they're not diet, and people like say, "Well, I'm only going to have one," because they see how much calories it is. It's like Lay's potato chips. You can't eat
Right.
just one. You got to eat like two or three of them.
Well, we got Martin, one of the people watching right now. He says, why don't you ask him to start now, so we can see it? Basically, that's what he said. Oh well.
Yeah, Martin. I don't know if you cook, Martin, but if you just take the time, and you gotta like to do it. If you don't like to do anything, you're not going to be good at it. But if you enjoy doing it, you could just take some ingredients like Felix does. He has whatever he has in front of him, and then his mind goes to work, and then he says, "You know what? I'm going to fry that, and I'm going to cook, and I'm going to mix that, and then voila, you have yourself a meal."
He used to own a deli in Bayville,
Okay.
so he knows pretty much how to cook. He's got a I've actually seen it because I know Martin. He has this beautiful kitchen he put in his house that has like it's almost commercial. It is pretty commercial. He's got a fryer and everything like in there and stuff. It's pretty incredible.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the right tool for the right job.
Right. That's all what it's all about. You need the right tools to do what you can. Like everybody thinks you have to be very. I mean, it is an art. Culinary, especially pastry, is an art. And a science together. But if you have the right tools, you can make nice designs and things like that as long as you know what you're doing. You know, pretty much.
Yeah, my wife is more of the baker and the cake maker. You know what I mean? Like I
Right.
can make a banana nut bread and stuff like that, but I'm not a big cake. I guess I just never put the time into it
Right.
though.
Now, do you?
I'm working on I'm working on an orange cake. I don't know if you've ever had orange cake,
Okay.
but orange cake is to die for.
Okay.
A good orange cake.
Right.
You know, I got into that, I guess, probably about 15 years ago, maybe a little longer.
Uh-huh.
My wife and I went to Manhattan, and it was the old Manhattan where every place you went, they had food.
Right.
And after dinner, I guess we were on our way to the Central Park. I don't remember what it was. He said, "You want to just have a cup of coffee?" She drinks tea, I drink coffee. And they had orange cake with like a sugar, a powdered sugar icing on it, and like a glaze
Right.
with some orange juice mixed into it for the flavor.
Right.
Well, this cake was out of this world, and I've been trying to find the cake to duplicate it, or I'm going to end up making it. Like I could tell by my taste buds what essentially is in there,
Right.
and that's what you do. You mimic it, and then you might be missing an ingredient, but you're still going to come out with
Right.
a good cake.
Well, you could with a cake like that. Probably what they do is they take confectioners, number 10 sugar, mix it with some orange juice, and there you go. You got your glaze,
Yep.
to go over the cake. Um, I made a Ravani cake. I don't know if you're into Greek or Mediterranean cooking, but
Yes.
I did a Ravani cake about 2 weeks ago, which was delicious. And
Oh.
it's like a pound cake, except there's cream of wheat or farina in there, okay,
Oh.
which makes it a nice texture. And then the Greeks always use what they call simple syrup. So it's like sugar and water together. They make a syrup, and you can flavor it. You could probably flavor it with orange, or alcohol like Cointreau or triple sec if you want that orange flavor. And then you just pour it over the cake, and it soaks it right up. So that's good. So
Okay.
they might do
I
something
have a
like that.
question though.
Yeah.
I have a question. You don't open up that alcohol until the very end, though, right?
Well, yeah. I mean,
Because I could see me opening up that alcohol and that cake would not get finished.
right. Yeah. It's like the old thing. Yeah, yeah. This much alcohol for the cake, and then that much for me. You know what I mean? That's pretty
Yes.
much it. Let's see.
Yes.
We
I
got a
love
couple more
rum
people
cakes.
watching. We have Bill Hansen. We have Joan Krupiescher, who's always a regular. Bill
Hello,
Hansen.
boys.
Yeah, Bill Hansen. I'm not familiar with, but hi, Bill. Um, Unfortunately, Bill, our chef, is hit by the storm in Florida, although he's trying to get on, so we're waiting for him. But in the meantime, we got Americo here, which we're having a great conversation about food. Anybody want to message us and talk about food? We'll do that. Hey, and if you want to get in on the Zoom, let me know. I'll send you the code, and you guys can come on with the Zoom as well. Anyone out there that wants to come on the Zoom and talk food, let's do it. I tell him all the time. The kid doesn't even want to travel or anything like that. He's like 25.
That's okay.
He's got money in the bank. I said, let's take your. He was on vacation. Well, obviously now on vacation you stay home most of the time. But I said, listen, man, why don't you just like go away somewhere or go upstate, anything. But he doesn't want to. So what are you
Well,
gonna do?
we have our grandkids that
Right.
and so their gigabytes or whatever it is sometimes not able to handle it.
Yeah. I just put recording on again for us. So hopefully we're still on the network. We'll see. Let me just check. Are we there? I think we're good. Are you there, Marco?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Apparently, I guess they've been having a lot of cable issues because of the storm and stuff like that. So I guess it even affects us a little bit. But we're going okay. We're still recording. So I'm just
We're also in prime time of church. Everybody's doing virtual church, so we're competing with God right
right,
now.
right. We're all competing with God. Yeah, I mean, I've been having terrible problems with this show, trying to get it started with the Zoom and everything. Apparently, well, what I'm going to plan on doing is probably going straight, instead of doing wireless, I think I'm going to just put an Ethernet cord on my computer, so it goes straight in. So I shouldn't have that many problems, but Zoom seems to be a problem a little bit. And then I realized that you have to update it every so often, otherwise you're gonna have problems. But right now, it looks like the show's still on. Doesn't look like anything else is occurring. We're just gonna check it here. Okay, so it looks like I'm okay.
I tell you what, speaking of Zoom, I wish I'd have been as smart as I think I am, because we were doing Zoom meetings with this Project Nine Line group,
Right.
Comedy Assault, and had we bought stock into Zoom, it went something like, I don't know, $30, $40 a share to like 350 or something. I don't know, whatever the numbers were, it skyrocketed. And we're all pretty smart. One of us should have known and said, yep, I bought into that, because you would have made a lot of money. And that seems to be the thing of the future.
Right.
Video. But, I didn't. I was doing comedy.
Everybody said, woulda, shoulda, coulda. When I was back in college, I had a finance teacher, and he was given the opportunity to buy real estate in Huntington on 110. He said no, and it was the quadrangle area right there.
Ugh.
And then the other one was Hebrew National Hot Dogs back in the 1950s. He didn't go into that either, so that would have been two killer investments for him.
Yeah, well, we're all different, and we all go our different ways and stuff.
Yeah.
And some people did invest into that, and now they are part owners of the Walt Whitman Mall or something.
Right. Right.
But some things are right in front of us, and we're not seeing it.
Right.
So maybe we should pull that mask down below our eyes.
Well, yeah, I mean, making masks now is probably a very profitable business.
Think about that. If you had gone out and talked to a printer and said, listen, print me out a bunch of circles that say 6 foot distance,
Right.
you could have sold them to everybody. Just a little tiny round cardboard box that says 6 foot.
Right.
You'd have been golden.
Okay.
Which happened to me about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was in a supermarket, and it seemed like there was a lot of people that were getting close and close, and I was getting a little, claustrophobic paranoia, and afraid of catching COVID. I jumped onto one of those circles, and I was safe. The floor is lava.
Also, going back to Martin, his daughter is watching, and she's an actual pastry chef. Her name is Danielle. So, Danielle,
Wow.
if you're out there, come on Zoom, talk about what you do. I believe she was a pastry chef in the Garden City Hotel.
Wow.
So she must do a lot of really nice work. I've seen some of her work. I'm trying to get her on the show, but she's a little bashful, But maybe
I
we
could
can
only
convince her
imagine
now.
what kind of work she does. Pastries
Right.
and at the hotel. That's a pretty
Right.
exclusive hotel. So they weren't putting out, like little brownie muffins,
No, not at all. So I'm sure she does some very nice work. If she has the opportunity, it's always open for her to come on the show, whether it's on Zoom or back on the back when we get back to the studio. So
Or if you said, like, if she's afraid or anything like that, I will post my address on the bottom of the screen, Danielle, and you could send me pastries and I will try them.
there you go.
I guarantee you they're going to be good. Send me like an assorted pack or something.
Yeah. There you go.
That's hard to do,
Assortment of-
pastries.
How about some Napoleons? I could always use some Napoleons.
Napoleons are hard to cut.
Yes.
That they're so hard to cut, which I like, because somebody goes, "I'll just take a half of Napoleon." You go, "You can't take a half. You can't
No.
cut it. Take the whole thing."
The best way is to just get a friggin' spoon or whatever and just go right into it. And
Oh yeah,
or
yeah,
just shove it in your mouth.
Napoleons.
That's it.
Oh.
I love
Yeah, well,
Napoleon.
I come from Argentina, and in my country, we have donuts now. I was actually there last year, and I saw Dunkin' Donuts in the middle of Buenos Aires, and I was like, Dunkin' Donuts,
Everywhere.
they're all over the place. But our claim to fame is called facturas, and
Okay.
facturas are like bakery made muffins and donuts and stuff. And we use a substance called dulce de leche, which you as a chef, I'm sure you know, and so does Danielle. Danielle, I'm sure, it's like a caramel made strictly out of milk.
Right.
And so they stuff them and they put them on top. But one of my old-time favorites when I was young, when I was living there, I was like 9, 10 years old, and I'd go run the errands for my mom. I would go to the bakery, and the woman behind the counter thought I was cute as hell, and she would give me a brown sugar. It's like a little toast. It's almost like a black and white, like a round, like a black and white. But the dough is not like a cake like that. It's more like a donut-y. And with the brown sugar on top, and then they would put them in there, and that would like melt and burn. Oh my God, I would die for those. And the dulce de leche, which is not dietetic, but
right.
If Danielle is still listening, I'm sure she has used it, and if not, look it up. Dulce de leche, which actually means sweet of milk, or milk caramel.
Right.
And oh my God, it is so good. I make crepes.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh my God, I make really thin crepes, and I put that in. I roll it up.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
not bad. Now, also, Argentina is known for having that chimichurri sauce, right?
Oh, chimichurri. That's
delicious on meat, steak, pork.
I mimic my mom's recipe, and I come close, but you know as well as I do. You give me all of the ingredients, and I can make it, and it just doesn't come out like you do. She used to make jars and jars and jars. I would give them to my friends.
Right.
And she would put, a good 10, 12 ingredients into it. But her claim to fame, and I still do till this day, is it has oil and vinegar in it.
Right.
At the very end, she would take the jar when it was all fine and done. She would take like lukewarm water, a little towards the hot, not boiling hot, but a little towards the hot, lukewarm water. And she would add, I don't know, maybe a third of a cup to each jar of that warm water.
Right.
And then she would shake it up. And she said that was like the secret, the secret. And you obviously, that much water and not being boiling hot is not going to actually, be able to make any kind of a turn on the spices inside of it.
Right.
But for some reason it did, And it consists of, parsley and onion and salt and pepper and garlic and
Argentinian pesto sauce, basically.
Oh,
except you don't use basil, you use parsley to it. That's it.
I know people that have taken chimichurri and poured it on spaghetti, which is something that I would never even consider because I've always used it on meat.
Right.
At a barbecue. And it's good. It's almost like we discussed a half an hour ago about the fresh herbs,
Yeah.
And, outside of the vinegar going on spaghetti, which wouldn't be normal, but it doesn't have an overwhelming amount of,
No.
Everything else would go onto spaghetti sauce.
Do you put any hot pepper in there or anything like that, or no?
Well, when I make it, I have friends who like spicy, and I have friends who don't like spicy. So when I make it, I make the whole batch, and then I will chop up some hot peppers and add it to a few jars, as opposed to making the whole thing hot. I just keep it like basic, and then I'll add some. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you. This is what came out of my garden. They're right behind me.
Sure.
I don't know if we could see these.
If you raise it up a little bit.
Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show the camera down to it.
Yeah.
Because I have quite a few.
Do that.
And these are hot peppers that I grew in my garden.
Wow, they look nice. Nice.
Yeah,
and they are nice. Not bad.
They are quite tasty, and they're hot. They're not for the faint of heart.
Right.
But I usually make like a crushed red pepper for keeping it dry in my pantry for later on. Use in usually like for pizza or something like that. A fried Diablo sauce.
Yeah,
but they're quite hot.
sure. They look it.
And I grew them in my garden, which brings me to another comic fact that my garden. This year I wanted to get into the garden. I'm going to be home. Let's do some. So I got all of the, the tomatoes and the basil
Right.
and the peppers and the hot peppers and the cucumbers. I walked out of the nursery with, I don't know, a $75, $85 bill for all the plants. And up until yesterday, I took a tally, and my estimation is that out of that $85, I was able to get about $7 worth of vegetables out of it.
I know. Yeah. I know. I like my wife's birthday happened around May, so I bought her like a little starter kit for gardening. With all the vegetables and everything. I think we've gotten maybe 2 tomatoes out of it, and a couple of zucchini or eggplants, Japanese eggplants, and that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
I told her, I said, maybe next year, we got to rethink this.
Well, I'm going to cut down some trees around my garden because this is like the second or third year I've had a bad harvest,
Right.
and I'm also going to, instill more nutrients into the soil. I do put horse manure and lime, your basic stuff, but I'm
Right.
going to look into the internet. There's probably some other things that I could add to the soil to make it richer.
Martin wants to know if you ever watched the series Beauty and the Baker Show. Have you ever heard of
Beauty
it?
and the Baker?
Yeah.
No.
I think it's a new show that's out, Beauty and the Baker. It's a reality show, maybe. But I heard it was canceled, so I don't think Martin we're going to be watching it much anymore.
I guess it was a cable show?
I don't know if it was cable or on a regular network, to tell you the truth, but I heard of it.
Actually, now that I'm thinking in my memory bank, I think I scrolled through it at one time,
Right.
and I don't remember putting it on per se, but I kind of do remember seeing it, as you scroll through looking for something on TV. I think I did see it.
Yeah. Me too, but I
And
never really watched it. You know. As
and
a
I
chef, I get tired of watching all these food shows and everything like that. There are a
yeah.
few that I really like. Like I like the Gordon Ramsay shows, like Hell's Kitchen, and Master Chef. And then when he like goes to restaurants and he refurbishes them, whatever, brings them back to life. I like that. I like the was it that baking show where the people from England, they have it over in England, the baking show, or you ever see it? It's on Channel 7
No,
during the holidays. The Great Bake Off is something they call it.
I feel the same way as you, that I have watched them and I've probably watched all of them once or twice. But as a cook, as somebody that gets around the kitchen, it's
Right.
hard to watch because you're kind of watching the same thing. How
Right.
many times can you look at a guy chopping up an onion? You know, Even Emerald, I love Emerald, but Emerald says, bang, a little more
Yeah,
garlic.
yeah.
I know about the garlic. What I do watch them for is to get ideas, to get my brain going.
Right.
Sometimes we go stagnant, and then I turn on the show and I go, "Oh my God, what didn't I think of that?" And then I run right out to the store and I got to cook it because I enjoy cooking, and so I have a whole new recipe right in front of me,
Right.
which is most of the time simple.
Well, actually, Martin wanted to tell you that the actual show is about an Argentinian family that owns a bakery.
Oh,
So you might be interested in that aspect.
yes.
So look it up. I'm sure you'll be able to see it. Might even be on Netflix or something. Nowadays you don't need to be there at the same time to watch the show.
Yes, and maybe they'll deliver. Thank you, Martin. I want one of
Yeah.
those brown sugar cookies again.
So
I
there might be
I
something
miss
you might
them.
like.
One of the first things I did when I stepped off the plane in Argentina, it was during the morning time, and I was meeting up with my cousin for breakfast. And he says, "Well, where do you want to go?" I said, "Well, I haven't been here in a while, but can you get, is there like a good bakery? Like we could go have a cup of coffee and
Right. Yeah.
and a pastry." And that's what we did. We went to a bakery, and I said, I want the brown sugar cookie. And he was looking at me like, I'm 65 years old, and I want a brown sugar cookie. It was like, yeah, it brought me back to when I was young.
Absolutely.
Oh
I
yeah,
always make dishes that I loved when I was young.
And there's, your sense of smell brings back a lot of memories. It's
Right.
been a proven fact.
Yep.
So, it put me right into the mood of, like, here I am, visiting with my cousins and my
Right.
aunts and uncles.
I love the smell, like when you walk into a good Italian pastry shop. You get all that sense of smell. You get the smell of the cannoli cream. You get everything.
Oh my.
Any bakery, it doesn't have to be Italian, but that's the best. It's the best. The fresh
Oh,
bread, everything.
the smell of bread is undeniable.
Right.
It's like going by a good steakhouse and you smell that steak. It's like there's no denying what's going on in there.
Great. Or you go past the Italian place, you smell the garlic and everything, the sauce happening.
My wife wants to make a room spray, because my wife is still working. She's probably going to retire very shortly. But she comes home and I'm cooking, or she might even be just inside. And she says, "Oh my God, that's going to taste." And it's just because of the smells. She could smell it in the kitchen. And most of the time, it's at the very start where it's just the onion and the garlic just getting started.
Right.
But that's got a distinctive smell that makes you hungry.
Yeah. Well, I like around this time, I'm going to start to make like kind of stews and stuff like that because the weather's starting to change. So that's good too because you get that aroma. Sometimes I do them in a slow cooker. It's not bad. It's good. You get very hungry by the time you smelling it throughout your house.
Oh my!
And,
soups,
that's what I like.
Soups and stews are woohoo.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait. In fact, I might even make a stew on the show in a couple of weeks. We're gonna see how it goes. But you could do your chimichurri sauce and your steak on the show if you want. There you go.
Chimichurri, and I don't shy away from it, but it's such a long process.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I would love to do it for you on the show, but I would have to prepare a lot of stuff prior.
Right.
Just the washing and the chopping
Right.
takes forever.
Right.
Because
well, that's what I do. I prepare everything before I go on.
Yes, you would have to.
Right. And then
you'd have to have like a little cup of already chopped up onions, and then you describe it as it goes along.
Yeah.
But and then you got to have a steak. And my father, who was the smartest man I ever met, my father was incredibly smart. He spoke 5 languages. Just before he passed away, he was learning how to write Japanese. Extremely, extremely smart man. And I wish I'd have taken after him instead of my mom's comedy. But he often mentioned to me that chimichurri, because some people ask me, can they put this on a steak and let it marinate?
Yeah.
And you can't, because chimichurri has vinegar. And if you put vinegar on uncooked meat, it tightens up the meat. It toughens it up.
Right.
So you can't use it, as a marinade. You could use oil as a marinade. You could use it on chicken. You could marinate chicken, which I've often had.
Because they'll break it down. Yeah.
Right. But chimichurri is meant as a, like a sauce per se.
Like a steak, like an accompaniment.
Right, to accompany la parrillada, which is the Argentine barbecue, which consists of, in my house, when I have a parrillada, I have at least 6, 7 different items, to choose from to eat, which is part of what I like when I'm cooking. I like the variety. I don't like to just sit down and have one thing. I like to have a little bite of that and a little bite of that. And chimichurri goes good on sausage, steak, ribs, chicken. It's fantastic.
Pork is good too, man. On pork? Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Listen, Martin just gave us another good place that smells good. When you walk into an Italian pork store, and
Oh
you smell
yeah.
all the supersada and the provolone cheese hanging around,
And the
that's
cheese,
also
yeah.
good. Yeah.
I take my grandkids there and they tell me it's not good. I'm like, wait until you get older. They're like, Pop, this store smells like cheese. I'm like, breathe that in. That's pecorino.
Right.
That's provolone. Look at it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hanging there. They're like, it doesn't smell good to us, but they're little.
So, well, hey, how is your daughter doing? She was in the Air Force, or she still is, or
Well, she's retired
yeah.
and she's doing good. She had a couple of health issues, scares, and knock on wood, everything is turning out towards the better.
Good.
She lives in one of those storm afflicted states. She's in Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
Luckily, she's in Knoxville, and they do get their storms, but not as bad as some other parts of
Well, the
Tennessee.
last one, Delta, that's where it ended up. That's where it finally finished off in Tennessee, right in the
She
middle of
gets,
Tennessee. Yeah.
she hasn't complained about anything super duper like losing her power.
Right.
She lives outside of Knoxville, so it's well, all the lines are below, I
Right.
guess, and stuff like that. But she does complain about rain and wind. Like
Yeah.
heavy winds and rain, which we get here. I mean, 2 days ago, it was a beautiful day. I think it was Friday.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful day, but I went outside and it was like I could have flew a kite right here. It was like the wind was at least 25, 30 miles an
Right.
hour.
Right. So have you heard from our friend Wild Bill?
Wild Bill has asked me, and I have gone. He's big into camping, so he's been going to out by Mastic. There's I can't think of
Right.
the name of the campground out there.
Yeah.
Smith's Point.
Yeah.
So he goes like 1 week he's on the beach, then the next week he's at the Smith's Point Park, and then he's at the beach. And he has asked me to go there, and I've gone there a couple of times. We usually meet on a Wednesday. We usually meet up around 12 o'clock, and
Right.
basically we just do what me and you've been doing. We talk, we catch up on live, have a couple of beers or coffee, whatever the mood brings, and sit by the fire and enjoy the outside. It's
Yeah.
great because it's filling for the soul to be talking with friends, and it's
Right.
outdoors, so you're getting the fresh air. And another friend of ours that you've also met, Art Silva.
All right. I love art. Yep.
He's been showing up. Now, like I said, a while Bill asked me to come down, but sometimes I'm busy. I'm homeschooling the grandchildren, or
Right.
I got to babysit, or I got to do something. So I haven't been able to make every week, but I've gone a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
And a plug for good people out there. About 2-3 months ago, the Santa Mauritius Boat Club, it's like an anglers club in Santa Mauritius, they opened up themselves to veterans on a fishing trip.
Right.
There was probably somewhere between 15 and 20 fishermen, and these fine men and women from Santa Mauritius came out and put up their own boats, their own bait. I went on a boat with with Bill. I went with Bill and two other vets, and we went fishing. We didn't have a successful day of fishing, but other boats did. The bottom line is Santa Mauritius, Anglers Club extended themselves to the veterans in a fantastic way, which I even tried to donate some money, and they were like, no, this is for you guys. It was a wonderful day. We went out of 2 different marinas in Santa Mauritius, probably about 4 or 5 hours.
Uh-huh.
And Wild Bill is the one that somehow connected with them, told them about the veterans. And it wasn't just the veterans from Project Nine. There were veterans from all over. And it was a wonderful, wonderful day.
Right. Nice.
So anytime that I see somebody helping others, I find it extremely, rewarding, because in the world that we live in today, we sometimes, cast shadows about, who's doing what and where. And there are a lot of good people out there doing the right thing.
Well, I mean, hopefully, if I ever make a lot of money, my dream is to have a school, a cooking school, for a lot of these homeless people, teach them what a trade or something, and then trying to find jobs for them. That would be one thing I would want to do. Have like a restaurant where the homeless people cook all the food and everything, and that income you would use in order to support everything. I'd love to do something like that.
Well, that would be one of my dreams, would be to donate, if I ever became a super duper comic where I was making that kind of money. I would need some money to survive and provide for my family. But
right,
some of these people, I just don't think that I'm the kind of person that would want a bank account with $3 billion in it.
Oh no, you have to.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of a person. I mean, why am I having $3 billion sitting in the bank when I could be with $1 billion? I could help out 100 people. Live in a house with
more than that you could do. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
As far as your cooking show, I'm not going to answer a for sure thing, but maybe you should get a hold of Project Nine Line, because they have workshops there for veterans. It's not homeless.
Right,
but it's for veterans.
Yeah.
And
sure.
You might be able to, I'm not saying, trust me, I'm just throwing it out there, but they have so many workshops. I don't think they have a cook workshop. They have a comedy, they have a drawing, they have a painting, they have music, they have yoga. And basically what it is they extend themselves to veterans who might need interaction or to reintegrate back into society.
Right.
So by reaching out to Project Nine Line, whoever the powers that be, maybe you could, maybe they'd be interested in saying, you know what, we have an open. Maybe they'd say, no, we're booked. We've tried that.
Even if it's just like cooking is recreational cooking for them, so they learn how to cook.
Right, cooking. To a certain extent, you're not going to have a kitchen there. So you would have to do a lot of stuff on paper.
Right.
You know what I mean? You could come in with a tomato or something, but you wouldn't be able to actually cook it. You might come in with something you'd have to work out. But it's a good organization, and it helps out a lot of people who have come back, from whether it be war or away from their families or just a whole new different style of life, and it opened up their eyes and to integrate them back into society. They have a lot of programs. I would love to do
anything for the veterans. You know that. You know how I feel about veterans and stuff. So.
But I like that idea about helping the homeless, or helping anybody. Helping anybody is a good thing.
Anybody doesn't mean anything.
Yep.
I just had a chef on last Saturday, or the Saturday before that. No, last Saturday, and he has autism. And he teaches other people with autism how to cook and everything like that, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And he goes out there, he sells at a one of these farmer markets out in Port Jefferson every Sunday. He bakes, he does a lot of cookies and a lot of different things. He even makes his own apple cider and stuff. And it's pretty interesting. So
I think I think that's awesome. I had a friend, this is a firsthand a guy who has autism, and he knows, you know what I mean? So I think it's fabulous that he can extend that knowledge to somebody else and that help to somebody else.
Right.
I had a friend of mine who in Florida ended up with some kind of a throat cancer, and he ended up with a speech box, one of those speech boxes. And I haven't talked to him recently, but I've talked to him at length over it. And at first, he was extremely scared of the unknown. How's it going to work? How am I going to do it? How am I going to be able to cope? Well, after the operation, and he ended up with the voice box, he decided that he wanted to do something for people that felt like that, the same way that he did. He was scared. And so he started a group, and he's helped out quite a few people, and he still will help you out if, prior to your operation or after your operation, and he's there to answer the questions. He's got more experience now. Now it's going on his 4th or 5th year with it. So
Right.
he's gotten accustomed. He's built his life right back up. He rides a motorcycle, and he's a great guy. And he extended himself to people that, were afraid of the unknown. And he said, here I am, I'll help you.
Right.
So hats off to my friend and hats off to your friend for doing what they do for other people.
Yeah. He's a young guy. I mean, he's only like maybe in his late 20s, early 30s,
God bless him. And he's a chef.
He learned on his own. He didn't go to a school or anything like that. And he's really got a good handle on it,
God bless him.
Yeah. Well, he's a high-functioning person. I know there's different levels of Asperger's. There's different levels.
Yes.
And he's a pretty high level, which is great because then he's able to, to teach others, as well that are like him. So I thought that was pretty admirable of him,
Oh, yeah.
And I think he wants to get a food truck by next summer. He's going to do that, which is good, Hats off to the kid, he's got everything, going for him. So.
There's a lot of money in food. We started the conversation at the beginning of the show about that there's not that many people out there that are cooking. Most people are depending on somebody else to do it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's because of need, because they're working, or it's just because they're not taking an interest, or it's, cooking. Trust me, cooking is not that hard. You'll be the first one to admit.
Not at all.
I mean, sure, there are some dishes that require a lot of attention and having everything come out at the same time and the mixtures and everything. But I mean, it can be done. It's not like operating on a brain.
It's all in the preparation, and the cooking itself takes hardly any time.
Yep.
Unless you're putting something in an oven, you could whip up something really within 10 minutes on a stovetop or something like that, as long as it's, you have everything prepped and stuff,
Oh yeah, you can make a great meal with raw materials.
Right.
I mean, a great restaurant meal with raw materials within a 35 to 45 minute time frame.
Lately, I mean, it's really weird, but like about a month ago, I had to cook dinner for, my wife and I didn't really know what to do. So I did the Iron Chef thing. So I looked in the refrigerator and I see, what's there. So we had some potatoes. So I took the potatoes, quartered them and everything, and put them in a roasting pan. Okay. And then I took onions and I cut up the onions and I put that on top of the potato. And then we had cabbage. So I said, let me take the cabbage, and I cut it up and I mixed this mixture of potato, onion, and cabbage. And I seasoned it and everything. And then I had a package of Italian sausage, or 2 packages of Italian sausage. So then I put that right on top, right? Covered it, stuck it in the oven. And it came out, and let me tell you something. It's like a staple item for us. We make it at least once a week. My wife loves it. My sister loves it. I told her about it. It's a really easy dish to make. And what's great about it is
it's fresh.
It all cooks at once. What? And it's delicious.
And it's fresh.
And it's fresh.
Yep.
And the potato with the cabbage and the onion. I tell you, I who knew? You know what I mean? But that's what you do. You just mix it up.
Well, you also have to give yourself credit. I know I give myself credit. You got to give yourself credit for being inventive and risky. You know what I mean? Like, some people would not even consider that. They would be like, "No, that's not true." Some of the greatest chefs have mixed 2 things together that have come out to be fantastic.
Right. Yeah. If you want, you go.
I
chop peppers up and put in there. It doesn't make a difference. So.
Last week I was stumped as to what to make for dinner. So what I do is I go to the supermarket and I start going around until something pops. You know what I mean? And I happen to be in a supermarket, and they had a split turkey breast that they cooked in the rotisserie. Well, it looked really good, white meat, and it's just my wife and I. So I said, you know what? I've been very thankful for what's happened to me and my family throughout this whole quarantine and this pandemic and life in general. I said, you know what? I'm going to make Thanksgiving dinner.
There you
So,
go.
like I said, it was a small breast. So I went and bought a small amount of mushrooms. I bought just 2 or 3 potatoes. I bought the only thing that I couldn't get away from was the stuffing. I had to buy a bag of stuffing. But I ended up making Thanksgiving dinner, and
There
my
you go.
wife called me and she said, "Well, I'm on my way home. What'd you make for dinner?" I said, "It's kind of like a surprise." And she came home and I said, "It's Thanksgiving." My wife likes to eat, but she doesn't like to eat like I do.
Right.
Well, let me tell you something. She says to me, I said, "Well, so what did you think?" She goes, "Look," and she shows me her plate was immaculately clean, which mine always is, but she doesn't eat like that.
Right.
She ate everything because it was, spur of the moment, and again, variety, and that's what I did, and I gave thanks. I gave thanks to what's been happening. I mean,
Got to
I'm
do it.
grateful for everything that's been
Got to
happening.
do it.
Yep.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, actually, America, this has been a successful show. We actually made it through the whole time. This is a first.
And yeah, you're coming up on the end of the show, aren't you? What time is it? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
12
Well, I
o'clock.
usually end it. I can end it anywhere between 12 and 12:30. It's about an hour and a half we go. Um, because like if we have someone cooking, we like to go a little further. Because it might
Right,
take a little
right.
longer.
For the unseen.
Right. But lately, like I said, I mean, this is a successful show. We actually made it over an hour, which is great. Usually I have some kind of technical difficulties or something, which we did, but we got through it, which was great. Um, so I guess I guess we'll end the show now. Thank you for coming on last minute. It
Thank you
was a
for
pleasure
inviting
talking to
me. It
you.
was it, it
I
was
hope
a pleasure
everything.
to catch up with you.
Right. I want to say thank you to Martin and Joan Krupiescher and Taz, the resident artist, and to Mr. Hanson, who is watching. Um, and to
All of your viewers,
Mr. DeFilippo, what?
all of your viewers. I want to thank all of your
All of the
viewers
viewers, not
for
just the
listening
ones that
to us.
messages us. Um, Hopefully Wednesday, if everything is well, I'm gonna see. We're gonna have Joe Stas come on and make that brunch. So we're gonna hopefully see him come on. Um, I'm sorry, I was just reading something, and that's it. So Miracle, thanks for coming on. We're gonna keep in touch. Let's plan something else, a little more, less than a spur of the moment thing. When we get back to the studio again, you're always welcome to come on. You co-host, whatever. They redid the whole thing. I don't know really what it looks like now, but I think it's a little bigger. Like, remember how you used to get cramped in there? I think they
Yeah,
fixed that
yeah.
problem, which is good for me.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure they came up with a few
Which is good for me,
alterations to
being a
to
big
fit
man.
that room.
Yeah, and keep in mind, like, do you have a favorite Argentinian restaurant that you go to or anything like that?
I I used to go to Greenfields on 110,
Right.
and my wife loved it. And I've been, because of the quarantine now, I haven't really gone out. It's just not within us to go out now. You know what I mean? But I do want to visit a couple that have been mentioned to me where they have that churrasqueria, and
Right.
the way that it started was with that little wooden red and green. You
Right.
kept that side green, and they kept coming over with little bites of food, and
Isn't that
then
the
you would take your
Portuguese?
break and flip it over to
You talking
red,
about the
so that they would.
Portuguese restaurants where they have the
Yeah, they're like a
barbecue things?
Brazilian. Yeah,
Right.
but I like them because for me to accomplish that, it takes
Right.
a lot of preparation, and I like variety. So when you
Right.
go there, you're able to eat 10 different kinds of meat, and they usually have a
Right.
good salad bar. So,
Well, you know
but
what? When this COVID thing is over, I have a good friend of mine that has an inn with the Portuguese restaurant,
Portuguese
with
is
a
good.
Portuguese restaurant, and they do that. And I'd love for you to come with us, and we'll have a good time.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
I think you,
yes,
I think you
yes.
get along with my friends very nicely, and I think we'll all enjoy a meal together, and maybe we'll have that triple sec or that what's the word? I forget, that orange liqueur that everybody likes. We'll have that with that, or we'll have Portuguese, whatever, whatever the drink is, you know.
Yes, 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 yes,
I
yes.
always believe when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So if I'm in a different place, like if I go to a Greek restaurant, I have ouzo with my meal, you know,
Sure.
or they have like this little rosé wine that knocks you out, and you have that with your meal and stuff like that.
Oh, sure.
Um, I always believe, which I always say at every show, if we were all to sit down at the table and learn each other's foods and know where it comes from and know the history of it, maybe we wouldn't have these problems, you know.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we do. Um,
Unless you get a skinny person, then he's going to be bound to argue with you.
right, 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 right. But okay, so enjoy the rest of your day, Americo. Thanks.
Likewise, Felix.
Text me that information on the project, okay? And I'll get in
Yes.
touch with whoever you give me. And perhaps when this whole thing is over, I'll see if I could come up with something for Project X, whatever, some kind of cooking thing. So.
Okay, my friend, have yourself a good day. To
You
all
too.
your viewers, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.
All right, no problem. Sign off, buddy.
Take care.
All right, bye. Okay. Well, right now it looks like Joe Stas isn't going to make the brunch, so we're going to try and have him do a special show on Wednesday. I'm going to talk to Tony and Sally. I know they don't normally go on Wednesdays, so maybe we could do a show then. Thanks everybody for watching. But at least we had a successful show and that it ran good. So that means I'll be able to bring more shows to you with more demonstrations. I might do a demonstration myself in the near future until we get back to the studio. In the meantime, go to teespring.com. You can get any items here. This is a mug that Taz the Residential Artist has done for me on our show, Let's Eat LI. And I'd like to probably go back to doing Let's Eat LI instead of COVID-19. I'm getting tired of being COVID-19 Iron Chef. I want to go back to being Chef Felix of Let's Eat LI. And I think that's the best thing to do. So we're going to do that. Again, anybody, while we're doing this, anybody who wants to come on the Zoom, we can. But I'm going to be ending the show soon. Taz, have a great day. She's signing off. Martin, thanks. As again, I'm saying goodbye to everybody. Joan Kruppy-Asher. I guess Martin and Danielle will say goodbye to if Danielle was watching all the way. Greg DiFilippo, thanks. Mr. Bill Hansen, appreciate it. And that's it. So everybody out there have a nice Sunday relaxing brunch for yourself. There's still time. Make yourself a cup of coffee, relax. You got football today. You got a lot of different things. So this is Chef Felix. I'm signing off. Thank you all for watching. Apparently, Mother Nature can change our plans, and that's exactly what happened. And we're going to get in touch with Joe Stas again and see about a Wednesday show. Take care. Bye. Have a good day and be safe.